So hello, everybody, and welcome to Artists in Residence. This is a series of virtual visits that we are doing with Moore College of Art and Design's recent graduates, the class of 2020. My name is Leah Komisky, and I'm the education coordinator for the galleries at Moore. And joining me today, we have Kiara Riley, who is the gallery's graduate assistant, and we're visiting with Ashleen Castillo, who is actually in Puerto Rico right now, and who has recently received her BFA in fashion design. Ashleen was born and raised in the mountains of Puerto Rico, and she's an emerging fashion designer whose work reflects her deep connection to the island and an interest in sustainable design practices. Ashleen made her way to Philadelphia after Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico, and has used her creative vision and technical skills to make celebratory statements of resistance about her homeland. She has received multiple awards for her work, including the Best Design Workmanship Award and the Adrienne Vittadini Ready to Wear Award at the 2019 fashion show. So thank you both for being here today. We're really excited to talk to you. The first question that I have been leading all of these conversations with is just simply, how are you doing? Because a lot has been going on since the last time we all saw each other on campus. So can you tell us how you're doing and how your family's doing, where you're at right now?
Yes, well, I'm good. I'm healthy. Everybody's fine. After spring break, I came to visit my family in Puerto Rico, and we got locked down, so I had to stay. And I just, like last week, I just went back to Philly to pick up everything, my stuff. The whole collection was in school, so I had to go there and just pick up all my things. So it has been a process of transition again. And it's good because I know it's gonna bring new things to the plate, but everybody's fine. I'm just organizing to start producing in Puerto Rico.
Can you tell us a little bit about how you wound up in Philadelphia and at Moore specifically in the first place?
Yeah, so Nacheli, our chair, she was my professor when I was a student here in Puerto Rico. I did my associate's degree here, and then I started my bachelor's. That's when Hurricane Maria hit Puerto Rico in 2017. And before that, it's important to talk about this because it's part of the thesis. When in August, I started researching about the thesis, like sustainable practices, case studies about brands and organizations that were applying sustainable practices in their work. And that really changed my life because it confronted me about how I'm gonna pursue this career, not leaving planets and people worse than I got it, like I was presented with. And now at that moment, after I started researching about that, Hurricane Maria happened in September. In October, I moved to Miami and I started working retail, and it was eye-opening for me because I really learned about like how consumerism and this system that it's like feeding this need to buy more because you need it, not because they are feeding this. This is psychological.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah.
And at that moment, it was also something that it was a learning process. And Nacheli posted in Facebook that if somebody from Puerto Rico wanted to move and continue studying in Moore, and I wrote to her and I said, like, I want to finish because I was a senior in Puerto Rico. So I did everything. I submitted my portfolio. She helped me with everything through the process. And we made it there in January 2018. So we got there and started as a junior. And this first collection that I'm going to show you, that was my junior presentation. Let me look for it. Do you see it?
Not yet. No. Oh, now we do.
Now it does. Yeah. Unforgettable it's called.
Yes.
So this collection was inspired by everything that I felt in Hurricane Maria, and all the emotions, and it was hard because it's still today. It feels like yesterday. So this was a picture that I took in near my grandparents' house, and it says like the end of the road. So for this, I got inspired by like how fragile we are, how like those emotions that you're not in control. So for this, I wanted to focus the visual elements into things that also talk about political aspects that are happening in Puerto Rico, because not only it destroyed a lot like infrastructure, and it destroys so many things visually, but also it really uncover how broken the political system is in Puerto Rico. So I wanted to focus visually on certain details, like for example, if you see in here, you see that the collar, it's near the neck. So I wanted to talk about how we are drowning in debt. We are drowning in like the government is literally asphyxiating the social thread of Puerto Rico, and also the pockets, because right now like tax is 16%. So it's economically it's like slavery, because there's no middle class. This is working class that is poor, living paycheck to paycheck, and is the rich. So I wanted to make a statement through these garments, and that's how they saw, like we see it in the wrong way. I wanted to feel like I wanted to people I wanted people to feel something, so that's why I chose to put like barefoot and all white, because that's the perception of how I see my home. It's pure for us. It's just like it's when you feel like that's home and you feel peaceful. That's why I chose white. And this one, it's more focused on like the hurricane, and those arrows are like the wings, and on the back is like the hurricane, and that was hand embroidery.
Wow.
So yeah, and those elements were some things that I wanted to talk about. For after that, I went to Guatemala. That's another thing that I want to share, because I'm telling you this because every single detail is part of the thesis. So no, it's here. So my internship in Guatemala, I went to a weavers cooperative called Trama Textiles. It's owned by women that it was born because of the Civil War, and most of their husbands, their brothers, their fathers were killed. So they needed to make money. They needed to do something for getting food, getting medicine. So they started this cooperative in Guatemala, and they feed 400. Like they provide, when you buy something from them, they provide to at least 400 women, and it's a fair trade cooperative, which is part of what me as a designer want to pursue, like being able to pay a fair wage to people that are working with me, and they produce their also their cotton. I can show you this. This was one of the beautiful experience. Like this is raw cotton. They were creating like the thread, and that's like I learned so much about the process. This whole experience, like put it in summarizing, it was all about the importance of the process and how each person is fundamental. Like you have the agriculture that produces the cotton, and you have the people who pick up the cotton, and you have the people who work the cotton, and you have the people who dye the cotton with natural dyes. That's also something that I learned there. I can show you the video.
What are the natural dyes made out of?
For example, we have achiote, we have plantain, avocado, what's that called? Curcuma. I don't know how to say it in English, but there's so many natural dyes that, and also something that is very interesting. Depending on how is the moon, like the phases of the moon, the color changes.
Wow.
So there's so many beautiful, amazing things that I learned there. I learned how to weave too, and for me, it was life changing. It was like I was not only learning about sustainable practices, I was applying them. Mm-hmm. So it really changed my life. Like literally, I'm gonna move to Guatemala soon.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. Because you working with the same collective again, or?
I'm not working right now with them, but I bought a lot of fabric from them. So now that I'm doing, like I did my moving, everything's gonna come here. So I'm gonna start producing from the things that I bought there, and also promote, because one of the things that I wanted to do there, it was, well, the thing that I was doing, I was producing prototypes, thinking about like Maya aesthetic and their cultural identity, but with a modern approach, and with the possibility to and the potential to enter to a high-end market, because there's so much beauty. Like, let me show you. This is one of the like the weavings that they were doing, and it was amazing. And how can we how can I as a designer can help them grow and position their craftsmanship that is so rich culturally, and it's amazing.
Actually, sorry to interrupt, but did you find that like working specifically with like a women's led cooperative, that was a significant aspect of the experience for you? Did that sort of shape, like, how did that play out? I'd be really interested to know.
Well, in that experience and overall my experience at More, I have to say that because I felt very empowered. There's something about women that we make things happen. We don't settle. We want to make things happen. We have dreams and we conquer them. So for me, in this experience, it was beautiful because they started from something that it was devastating, but at the same time they create so many beautiful things from that, and that's what art about. And for me, it was very empowering. Like I said, it was life changing, not only because it's just so many things that I can say about this experience, and that's why it was so relevant, because it's all about the community and the relationship that I created there. Because I know I have the potential to be whatever I want to be, and I could be in New York and working with big designers during my internship, but I wanted to have a life-changing experience where my privilege was confronted. Like, it was not only about the creative part, it was about life. It was about, like, there's people who are struggling much more than you are. You have so many resources, you have so many things that can help them. And I truly understood that my work is for the community. My work has to be involved with the community. And that was the most valuable gift that I can say, working with this woman, like all of those women that I met, because they were my mentors at that moment. And it was for them, it was great to meet me, but for me, it was a privilege to meet them.
So did that sense of, I mean, that you walked away with, like, knowing I need to connect my work more directly with the community, did that sort of shape your thesis work then as well?
Yes, definitely. Like, after that, I can start talking about the thesis now. After that, I went back, and I didn't want it to leave, but I had to face this reality. um, so my thesis, it was hard because you I wanted to talk about something that it was meaningful for me. We can produce something, but if what's gonna change you inside of you, because I believe that each one of my projects has to speak something about what's happening in my mind and what's changing inside of me. So for this, I just connected all this experience, and I choose three pillars very importantly in my work that I was able to identify, and now I pursue them. But it was transitions, how from starting in Puerto Rico, I started learning about sustainable practices, changed my mind, and then suddenly we needed to start from scratch after the hurricane. And then moving from my home to Miami, and then, like, not 3 months later to Philly, that it changed completely, because the day that I step on Philly for the first time, it was 13 degrees.
Oh God.
It was
So
cold. It was horrible. So it was everything. It was transition through transition to transition. And transition is something you don't go back from that. You change completely. Excuse me, let me put this to charge. Sorry. So that's the first part of the theme, like one of the pillars. So transitions, because my life has been constantly about transitions. And the second one, collaboration, no, sustainability, because that's the present and the future. We need to change. We need to adapt ourselves to our new reality. taking responsibility and accountability for the things that we do and this is something that it's every single day. You have to choose to not use a straw and use a reusable straw. Little things like that every day. So how can I apply this to my work? So I decided to look for, because I was broke too, I decided to look for for secondhand fabric. So I went to this store and I found very cheap fabric, and I made the work because I was broke. Because I was broke. And because I wanted to make a statement and be able to open the conversation about, we have resources. We don't need to create more. We need to use what we have. And also utilizing, like, I use IKEA bags for some of the accessories. Like I broke them down and make something new.
Like the big blue IKEA bags?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So the details are IKEA bags and plastic, and also some plastic mats and beads. Everything, like almost everything, was repurposed. So after that, the other pillar is collaboration. That was fundamental because I understand and I know that the future is the present and the future is collective. We need to have this collective mindset. And Guatemala was fundamental to make me understood that we don't grow alone. We grow with many people. So collaboration, in this project, I apply to my own community, so to position my country, my Iceland, artists and craftsmanship into the platforms that I was able to present, like New York Fashion Week, like Philly Craft Art Show, craft art show, yes. And to help each other and to build up on each other, and just it was beautiful because I collaborated with a jewelry designer called Rura, that she made an amazing jewelry, and shoe designers, Bosque, that it was everything was like beautiful, because from this concept that I'm showing you, they built upon that. So it was their design with the concept that I created, but it was it was it was merged so beautifully, and their work elevated my work into something great and something amazing, and everything was local, and everything was made so impeccably. So that's something that I appreciate from my tribe of creative people, that were they were open to work with me. And so when we do a concept, we chose we have a client, and this client actually is my hairdresser. So she's amazing. She is specialist in curly hair, and she's a traveler. She buys locally. She lets herself be the most exotic version of herself. She and that's what really captivated me, and really, like, I appreciate that, because that's the woman that I dress. Like, the woman that I dress represents, like, she's so rebellious, because she doesn't care about what other people think. She loves herself so much that she wears whatever she feels, because she's confident about it, and she knows who made it, she knows how they made it, and she invests in that. And that's beautiful, because you're investing in art and a one of a kind piece. And That's her. That's my client. And this is the collection. So, let me explain to you the concept. So I needed to find some element in nature that represents transformation. So I thought about the hermit. I found the hermit crab because I was reading something, and suddenly I saw, like, in the solstice of summer, there's this phenomenon that occurs with the hermit crab that they mate. So when I was reading, I found out that I'm kind of like a hermit crab because every time they grow, they have to change their shell. So it's basically my life, how I have to change so many shells. And that's basically what it's a metaphor of our existence. Like every time that we are changing, it's reflected through our clothing. If you notice, it could change colors, it could change, like, how you feel is how you want to show the world. And also I wanted to celebrate my roots as a Caribbean woman, and that's why I chose the color palette. And I wanted to bring, like, this atmosphere of Latino culture. So in terms of the structure, I apply the skeleton to the garments. I can show you the garments. They're here.
Oh, awesome. That's way better than pictures. Yeah. Wow.
Those are beautiful.
So yeah, it has to, everything had to match. And I wanted to work with print blocking, color blocking, and it was like each piece is the continuation of another and another. When you see the details, they were handmade, screen printed, like homemade screen printed. And here you see the IKEA bags with the plastic.
Oh yeah.
And this white, the parts where you see this, it's modular. That's something that one of the important concepts about this collection is that it adapts. For this look, that's the third look, you don't have it there, the sleeves, but you can change it from the second look to the third look. You can change this part, the sleeve part.
That definitely, I mean, I guess speaks to your ideas about sustainability, right?
Exactly. You can prolong the life of this garment, and you can adapt it the way that you want it to. You feel like it. So, for example, the first dress, you can take out the ruffles. For the second dress, you can take out the sleeve or the pants, and you can use it as a long pant or a culotte or a long jacket or just elbow length. And that's something that is applied, like that's when sustainability is applied. And my fabrics were all like $1 fabrics.
It looks like it's like a wide range of like different textures too, right? With this, like, I really want to touch these things.
Yeah, let me show you. So this one is like where there's a lot of type of fabric. This is like tapestry fabric. And this is cotton. This is cotton with a texture. This is cotton. But this is a fabric that I don't know what it is really, but it's has a different type of texture, and it's also shiny. And inside it's just cotton. But I wanted to play with the fabric and the texture, because for me also fashion it has to be an experience. When you see something, it has to be exciting. So that was part of the things that I had in my mind. So I wanted, for this is basically my portfolio. I wanted my portfolio to be like my sketchbook, but cleaner. So you can see in each one of the pages that I have like the fabric that I choose, and the like process pictures and how I got this idea from that. And it was very entertaining, a lot of work, but it was life changing and it was beautiful. You can see here in the jewelry. It, she also recycles wood, so those are those are things that also apply to sustainable practices. Mm-hmm. And the shoes also. So this is the first look. The second look.
I mean, I think that you know, your ability to sort of create these like totally cohesive pieces with so many different elements, it just is like an incredible testament to your skill, because I could see that going so wrong so many ways, you know, but there's just such an elegance and simplicity to these pieces that's really amazing.
Thank you. It was a lot of work.
I had a quick question for you about like the element of travel in your work. It seems like travel and migration is like really significant to you and sort of incorporated in your work. Are there any other like places you'd like to visit to like peep the fashion scene in those areas?
Well, my next collection is about migration. So this is good.
Wow.
This is
perfect segue.
It's good. Yeah, it's a great question. So I think let's say my motto of my favorite thing to think about is that experience change you and change the way that you see the world. And I believe that every place that I go, I absorb and try to transform it into art. So yes, it's fundamental, and that's why I want to move. I want to move to Guatemala because I know I'm gonna travel Latin America. I'm not gonna only stay there. I want to go to Colombia. I want to go to Peru, to Bolivia, to Chile, to know the artisans from there, learn how to do hats, learn how to do shoes, learn their culture, because I'm passionate about cultural identity and the craftsmanship. So that's why, even though I didn't apply to this collection, like fabrics from Guatemala, I know that my work is gonna be able to be produced by them, and that's my goal.
Was it like a very emotional experience for you to like see this this vision of yours that it's not, I mean, you've been sort of like incubating this collection, your thesis collection, for years, like, right? Like it just was like born out of like one idea that was attached to another, and the string of experiences that you had over the years. I mean, was it a really emotional experience to see like models on a catwalk, like wearing these pieces?
It was. It still is, because it's just amazed me how overall, like, us as designers, as we can do something that people can wear. that blows my mind, just making clothes and being able to make art, because I know my work, it's very artistic, it's very conceptual, it's just like, it's beautiful. I just feel like, wow. And it's very emotional because you're leaving everything, you're putting your whole spirit into it, and that also speaks about how you feel. And for me, it was so important to make it look impeccable, because that speaks about how you feel inside. And I wanted to be clean and beautiful and playful and joyful, and I wanted to make people feel something. So it was definitely very personal, very emotional, very spiritual, and I think I achieved it.
Yeah. I mean, from the evidence that you have shared with us today, I would say you nailed it. Yeah, your work is incredible.
Thank you.
Can you talk?
And you see, yeah.
Go ahead.
And you see, there's different type of the colors of the shoes. This is the second pair. It was blue. It was more with blue, and this is my favorite one. It was the hardest one. No, it was not the hardest one. The next one is the hardest one. Because it was basically a puzzle to build. And I cried so much because I was so exhausted, but yeah, this was the hardest one.
Do you wear clothes that you make?
Yes. Yes, that's something that I'm working on, because it's so important to represent your own brand. Right now, I'm not wearing nothing because it's so hot. It's so hot. But yes, I have skirts, I have dresses, I have bathing suits that I make. And it's very important as a designer, you wear your own clothes, because that's how you attract people to not only buy, but get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Have you thought of any new ideas during quarantine of like stuff you want to design?
A lot. I have so many tabs open in my mind. Like, I wanna, my next project, well, not now, I have a lot of ideas. I'm working with an industrial designer with sunglasses and eyeglasses.
Cool.
He already made some prototypes, and we are working on that. Handbags. Also, that's another project that I can share with you, that it's called Las Divas del Monte, that it was born from me working in the studio and seeing so many people waste a lot of fabric. So I rescue those fabrics. I can show you. I rescued those fabrics and created these handbags. So it was cool, because I was applying those sustainable practice into another product that it's very functional. Everybody loves like a small bag. So, and also I use recycled plexiglass and wood. So I was doing patches, the little keychains, and pins. But yes, I'm working on the sunglasses. I'm thinking about taking a class to make backpacks, because part of the things that I'm planning to do right now is to lower down, not lower down, it's just I want to be able to do ready to wear, because it's more profitable. And you don't sell this every day. this is not something that you sell every day. So I need to make my brand sustainable. And I'm making a plan of how can I produce capsule collections. And part of the things that I want to make, it's backpacks, accessories. I'm making swimwear and clothing, but ready to wear clothing, basic tops, basic pants, a basic dress, skirt, things like that. And in the future, I want to make hats too.
Can you talk a little bit about, I mean, I perceive there to be like a little bit of a tension between sustainable design practice and ready to wear fashion. Like, I guess, like, how do you make ready to wear designs that aren't fast fashion? Like, is there a tension there for you? I mean, I think when you're talking about a capsule collection, that sort of answers the question, but.
Yeah, because it's okay. When we talk about sustainable practice and ready to wear, we can talk about so many things, because sustainability is something that it's still growing, and you keep exploring new practices, like the amount of water that you use, the amount of textile waste that you waste, or how can you use that waste into creating another thing, repurposing fabrics. Also, I'm thinking in terms of slow fashion, in terms of the amount of, the quantity of production that I'm gonna make. I'm thinking about making only three pieces of each size, like 3 small, 3 medium, 3 large, and it's a capsule collection and it's limited edition. So what I wanted to apply is how the things that I learned in this modular collection, how can I apply it to not only the first collection, but it has like this connection to all the collections of the future. And how can this print works with the third collection, and how it matches together and how it works together. So that's something that I'm still exploring. And but I have that vision, and I know that in my way towards the future, we're gonna learn much more. So what other question do you have? Did I finish with the thesis?
I guess I'm curious to know, since collaboration is still such a big part of the work that you're doing, like right now, how is collaboration like working for you in times of quarantine? I mean, we have Zoom. We're on Zoom right now. But has it been a real challenge to meet with other designers and sort of think these ideas through?
Well, it has not been like the most comfortable, because I'm a one-on-one person. I like that physical presence, but I was able to communicate to a lot of my colleagues and people that are working with me, and it has been good. But basically in this quarantine, I have been focusing on just organizing myself, not creating a lot. It's just trying to just learn and absorb and see and replan what I want to do next. So there's, yes, things that are going, but slowly. And also because I think a lot of people that like from the outside of art, or they don't understand the amount of work that goes into our work. And I don't want to feel the pressure of society, of people, of the system to produce something because you need to feel productive. I wanna be able to produce something because I know it's gonna transform not only my life but people's life, and it's gonna help. It's gonna build upon something bigger. And so I have been, yes, talking to people, but most importantly, organizing myself towards what I wanna, my next step. And also something that I wanna talk about is how I'm gonna apply also communication and education, that it's so important. I'm a full advocate of sustainability, so I wanna be able to talk about it. So that's part of my plan of not only launching my ready to wear collections, like capsule collections, but also having a space to talk about sustainability, to talk about um, political aspects in fashion, social aspects, environmental aspects. And yes, having that space to have other people come and talk with me about it and learn and grow and build upon a community.
Related to that, I mean, you clearly have a deep-rooted belief that, fashion has an important role to play in times of crisis and social upheaval. I mean, what do you think that your practice specifically is capable of achieving right now? Or what do you hope that it will achieve right now? Maybe that's two different questions, but
that's a very important question, and it's my goal is to be able to educate people first, because when you are educated, there's nothing that people can say. When you are educated, you know that's the facts. So education is super important, but also appreciation, getting to know the people that make the things that you're wearing, your second skin. That's something very important. So appreciation, value, empathy, those are important pillars and values that me as a human have and want to keep growing them, and being able to speak and share that, and yeah, be able to multiply into others through my work.
I guess I just have one last question for you. Are there any new designers that you have discovered during quarantine, or is there anyone out there that's in particular that's giving you energy or inspiration right now?
There's a designer, and I'm so bad with names, I don't remember, but I think everybody has seen it. Is this brand that they launched their runway without models?
Oh, Hanifa?
I don't remember. I don't know the name, but it was amazing.
One way, like it's like they use CGI models.
Yes.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Hanifa.
So I like that because it was different. It was a different experience, and right now I don't know. I'm always like looking, but a designer that I truly admire is Carla Fernandez. She is from Mexico, and because of the cultural identity part that I love so much, she really speaks about her culture, and she celebrates it, and it's a sustainable brand, so she creates things, beautiful things. So that's something that I can share with you. The rest I don't remember. Sorry.
No, those are two really interesting leads for others to pursue and look up. I definitely will. Yeah, well, I mean, I think unless there's anything else that you would like to add, I'd like to thank you for making the time to talk with us today, and sharing some of your vision. It's incredibly inspiring. The intent that you have in all that you do, it's really, I mean, it's very impressive. So we'll definitely be keeping track of your travels and where you end up. Very exciting stuff. So
Thank you. And thank you. It's meaningful for me to talk about this because I haven't talked about this in a while. And even though I have thought about so many things, like my future plans, going back and like seeing that I have walked all of this, it's refreshing because it makes me think about why I'm doing it.
mm-hmm.
And it's a confirmation that I'm walking towards my purpose and what I stand for.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you again, Ashleen. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much for talking.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.